Captain Deadpool himself, returning to the show, Jared Warren. What's up, brother?
How we doing, guys?
Always doing good. Always doing good. How are you?
Doing great, man. Feeling good. Just got home
Feeling?
from training and showering and all that stuff, so I'm kind of in relax mode now.
Now, it doesn't seem like you fought all that long. How long ago was Wichita?
It was early April.
Was it
What we
that
got?
long ago? So it has been a few months.
Flies by, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
sure,
does.
sure does. So let's talk about that for a second. I don't know if we've had you on the show since then. It didn't go your way that night, but it was a very tough, close decision, just like we were just talking about with the Palomino Brito fight. It could have gone either way that night. You were fighting Isaac Doolittle in his hometown. Going into that fight, you were feeling pretty good, pretty confident about yourself. What happened in that fight with Isaac that maybe surprised you to make it not go your way that night?
The judges, man. Honestly, because I've said this before. I've never once even asked for or entertained a rematch because I feel like I've either clearly won my fights or clearly lost. This one, and it's not against Doolittle. It's not up to him, but I kind of felt like I got the short end of the stick on the judging side, with it being his hometown and stuff. So I would love a rematch with him. But yeah, other than that, the takeaway from my fight and from the Brito Palomino fight, like you just mentioned, is do not let it go to the judges. There is no guarantee in this sport or any other fight sport. So that's the only way to come out ahead for sure, honestly. So that's kind of like
it's the only way to hold your destiny in your own hand, man. You need to fucking not let it go to those judges. We've seen it too many times now, for sure.
Yeah, that was the first one of my fights that has, and I kind of made up my mind. I'm like, never again. It's not for me. It's not for me.
Let me ask you something, because you had fought many times before that. And like I can't relate to that because I'm not a professional fighter or anything, but I was a high school wrestler back in the day. And like I remember losing my first high school wrestling match, and I felt like my fucking stomach fell out, and I fucking hate the feeling. I hated that feeling for the next 48 hours of my life. I was like in shambles, and I swear to God, I will never lose again. What was the feeling in your gut that night? Like, what was going through your head the immediate moment after the decision was made?
Right when it happened, I didn't like lose my shit or anything, because sometimes things look different from the outside than from being the actual person in there fighting. So I kind of I kept my cool. I waited till I had a chance to actually go back and watch the fight. My coach watched the fight. I had a lot of people get back to me, and I'm fortunate enough, my coach included, to have a lot of honest friends in my life who would be like, listen, like if I lost, they'd be like, dude, yeah, it sucks, man, but you did lose, whatever. So they'll tell me either way, whether it be for better or for worse, and I honestly have not had one person who was like, yeah, dude, sorry, but you got your butt whooped. It's like, all everybody's like, damn, dude, I thought you won 3-4 of the rounds of the 5. I'm like, yeah, I thought I did too. But judges don't always see it the same way.
Something happened after the fight. It happened during the fight, but then after the fight, a lot of people were talking about his coach. And it was caught on camera that he had told him he was down rounds. But then afterwards, when we talked to his coach, he said he did it on purpose. Do you buy that?
Personally, I don't. But again, I don't know the guy. I don't know the coach either, like how they roll. I don't think that's necessarily true, but
Yeah, he said he was Jedi mind tricking him. That's what I think that's exactly what he said. He was like Jedi mind tricking him in the back room. But anyways, man, Isaac's a tough fighter. You guys are in a tough division. You got a 185-pound champion that seems like he's going to be busy for a while doing other things. You got a very formidable opponent coming up next week, July 23rd in Tampa, Jomi Escoboza. I'm sure you've watched all his fights now. He's 7-0, 6-0 in BYB, 1-0 in the BKFC. Have you been impressed by what you've seen out of your upcoming opponent, or are you you seeing yourself running through this guy and getting right back into top 5 title contention talk?
So I'm respectful of his the run he's made so far and having a good record and all that. Personal opinion, I don't think he's faced a high caliber of opponents, and that's not I don't think that's on him. That's just like the organization that he was fighting for at the time. But again, I just kind of go by apples to apples, and right now the only apples to apples we have was Zion, and again, nothing against him, but I disposed of Zion a lot quicker than Jomi was able to. But yeah, man, I took this fight without missing a beat. As soon as they offered it to me, I was like, absolutely, let's do it. I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna actually be a fun fight because most people are, if they're not my height, they're a little shorter than me typically. But he's a little taller than me, fights a little different style than most of the people I face. So it actually makes the shit exciting to me.
Do you have somebody in there imitating the goofy jab, as he calls it?
I don't know, just because he
Can that be imitated?
it doesn't matter. No, like
goofy jab.
Even though he's very excited about his goofy jab, it doesn't make a difference to me. So no, that's not something I ask somebody to try and imitate. No.
You talked about his level of competition, and when we talked to him, I think I brought this up to him, or one of us did, how like you guys are the UFC of bare knuckle and BYB is Bellator of bare knuckle. It's not a shot against them. They're a good enough organization, but in the world of bare knuckle, just like in MMA, UFC is the shit in MMA. BKFC, all the higher talents over here. He came over, he went 1-0, very much like Michael Chandler against Dan Hooker. Now he's taken a big step up in competition, just like Michael Chandler did. I mean, I'm very interested to see how he reacts, like you said, to a higher level of competition, because you and Zion threw down, and we all saw what you did to Zion that night. Nothing against Zion, but
yeah, and I think I would guess that that Jomi would be in agreement that this is the organization in general is a higher level, because had it been not, why not stay there? You know what I mean? Like, I think he probably wanted a higher level, so he came on over here. So, yeah, man, it's gonna be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. And like I said before, the 185-pound champion, what do you think goes on with your division after this fight? And whether you win or Jomi win, what happens with the 185-pound division right now with Isaac Doolittle sitting there in the number 1 contender, promised title shot? You come off a win of a guy who's 7-0. Now you're there. You know what I mean? It's like really what happens with your division.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because Doolittle does deserve the next shot. But everybody sees Richmond coming in the mix, and I can't lie, I think that's a fun fight to watch too, if and when it goes down. So I'm kind of curious if the organization has said anything to like Doolittle, being like, hey, I know you're due next, but if you don't mind stepping aside, let this fight go down. We'll give you the winner. You know what I mean? Who knows? I'm kind of curious about that. But yeah, for me, getting the win, I could see me needing to wait maybe one more fight, then a possible shot if everything goes well, just because of how things are standing right now.
Now let me throw this at you, because Isaac was on the Planet Hand show with Lorenzo and Quentin Henry.
Yep.
And he said a lot of things. Matter of fact, Isaac Doolittle, for like a reserve guy, he really opened up on that episode, and I was impressed by him. And he basically just said he wants to fight. He'll fight whenever.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, if Mike Richmond and Lorenzo gets made and that title gets like pushed to the side a little bit, do you think that if you got this win July 23rd and asked for a rematch with Isaac Doolittle, he would accept it, or you think he'll wait for his title shot?
I think he'd accept it, but just because, like you said, he does say he likes and wants to fight. But
Yeah,
at the same time, like it would be smarter for him to be like, well, no, I've already, earned the number one
right.
contender spot, so give me my due. So I mean, I hope for his sake, I hope he does get the next shot at it. Because regardless of what happens from there, I could see Richmond still fighting Lorenzo, even if let's say Doolittle comes out on top. I think Richmond would still want to fight Lorenzo just because he wants to fight Lorenzo. You know what I mean? So
right.
So I mean, yeah, I hope everybody gets their due, but comes down to this is a business, and they want to entertain the fans. What do the fans want to see? So it could easily go either way.
Yeah,
That looks like the fight. I think it's going to happen. I really, really do. And, if it makes dollars, it makes sense. That's how it goes around here.
For sure. Yeah.
It does kind of
can't
suck
fault him for that.
No, it does suck for the rest of the divisions, especially like in the 205 too. Like that's being held up. I just think they should kind of push that belt off. If Hector Lombard's not going to come back, they should just have, a hero versus Trujillo bout for that title or something like that. Just get it moving.
Right. That would definitely make sense.
So, I mean, your weight class, you have, I was trying to pull up the fight card, but the app's giving me fits. Can you guys believe that shit?
What?
No, it's making me want to sign. It's like, dude, for some reason it signs me out every fucking time I get off the damn app. Like, why won't it let me stay signed in? It drives me crazy. But anyways, just looking at like some of the names, Dave Mundell's fighting on that card in Tampa. So Dave. So you got Dave Mundell, you got Dave, you got who's he fight? Stewart?
Simpson. Yeah.
Simpson. You got Simpson. Yeah, there's some interesting competition out there, but the one in front of you is Jomi. How do you see this fight playing out? Do you see you going, like, every one of Jomi's fights seems like it goes the distance? I could be wrong about that. He might have a few finishes in his career, but it seems like he's a guy that goes the distance. You see yourself going multiple rounds with Jomi?
Multiple rounds probably, but definitely not the distance. Not gonna happen, man. I'm just too focused on finishing this fight. And like I said, it definitely left me angry in my last fight, not going last fight going the distance and getting not getting a decision as a result. With all the other ones, all the first round knockouts are like, go home early, you have less injuries, and you don't have to worry about having a mark on your record. So yeah, I mean, I'm not, I said this to a couple of buddies. I'm not slick enough to be like, it's gonna be this round when this happens.
Yeah.
But if I were a betting man, I would bet that it's not gonna go all five.
Coming off the loss against Isaac, you felt great going in. You looked great going in. You fought great. You guys had a very tough decision. You felt like you won that fight. Did you change? Obviously, the opponent's different, but did you make any drastic changes in your fight camp this time, like as opposed to the one you did in your last one?
I mean, the only difference is, kind of planning for a difference in the distance game, tall guy versus a short guy. But I'll give you guys like little inside scoop on me. Like the biggest change I've made is, I don't know, the last few years I've been on antidepressants for a while, right? And they kind of got like a little heavier in the recent times. And I was just too fucking nice in that last fight. Like, I liked Doolittle. Like he's a nice guy. Like I actually didn't want to like punch his face that much. And I was just too like happy go lucky. And I think that those things kind of like fucked up my killer instinct. So
Really?
I saw, and I saw that. And I also had multiple people point out to me, like, you know what? You didn't really have that killer look in your eye like you usually do. Like you seemed like you were just in way too good a mood. I was like, you're right. And I kind of felt like that too. And I didn't like it.
Wow.
So I came off, like after being on him for years, I came off multiple antidepressants, and it was a little hard at first, but I fucking feel so much better now. I want to like kill people again, you know. So it was a healthy change.
Some people say that they have to. Some people have to want to kill their opponent in order to do well. Like they have to hate them or dislike them in some way, and some people don't.
And I actually don't. I don't need to hate at all. I don't hate my upcoming opponent, but you do have to kind of be in kill mode. You know what I mean?
Right,
I think that you have to want to hurt and finish the guy. And I was just way too nice and chill in my last one. And I didn't like it, so made some lifestyle changes, and I think it's definitely for the best.
You know, being military, me and Mike see people that are on antidepressants all the time, right? My older brother got out of the active duty military. He did a lot of crazy shit when he was in with the Rangers and all that stuff. And when he got out, he was battling with PTSD. Now, not that you were battling with that, but they loaded him with fucking antidepressants. Like he had a little treasure chest of fucking pills that he was taking all the time. He was a different person. Like he was 100% different person. He was a zombie most of the time. He was
it kind of numbs you.
It numbs you. And like he finally ended up getting off of everything, going through a PTSD program, but in the long run, he stopped all medication. Honestly, what he added into his life was medical marijuana, and that fucking fixed him forever. And I'm going to tell you right now, he is the same badass motherfucker that he was before he got on all those pills. So I could see where you're coming from there. I've seen it in my own family.
Yeah, that's good, man. I'm glad to hear he made a similar change, because problem is you have to really think for yourself sometimes, because a lot of doctors they have like an algorithm, you know what I mean? Like you go and you're like, yeah, I kind of, I've been feeling like this. They're like, well, this is on the list. We're going to give you this. And then, there's not really much of like a thinking or any kind of investigation of like, maybe let's try this first and maybe some lifestyle changes. It's kind of like pills and pills and pills. And if I think I made the mistake of not thinking for myself at first and just kind of like trusting whatever they said. And then, once you're on them, a lot of people say like you can't come off them. A lot of people become really fucking suicidal when they come off. So I had to be smart about it. I had to wean myself off. But now that like I did come off and all the freaking, kind of withdrawal side effects are gone, I feel so much better, dude. I feel like back to being me. Good. So so I mean, it's not for everybody. Some people probably do really need to be on them, but I was fortunate enough to make that as a healthy change.
That's really great. Good for you, man. That was going to be my follow-up question was, did you feel it like physically? Were you able to continue training as hard as you were before, or, weight training or any of that stuff? Or was coming off the meds fucking with that?
Well, it was fucking with me. Like it kind of made me a little more like explosive with my emotions at first. Like I get like really pissed off or really like sad for no reason at all. But thankfully, I feel like the training was the one like natural, positive that made me feel good. So I actually, so I was doing 2-a-days every day, and so that was kind of like getting that endorphin kick that makes you feel better naturally. So actually it didn't affect my training in any kind of negative way, thankfully. But there was definitely some side effects with being a little emotional, and it gives you like some sensory issues for a little bit, but thankfully that's all come and gone now, and back to feeling 100%.
Sweet.
It's fucking awesome, man.
Good to hear.
Yeah, and thank you for opening up, because that's definitely something that nobody would know about you, and we appreciate you opening up about that. People need to hear that kind of shit. People need to hear that kind of shit. Now, have you been back at the fire department since your last fight, or you've been just training the whole time?
No, I've just been training, man. I'm still doing a little leave from there. But we'll be going back eventually. But yeah, right now I'm kind of just honing in on this for the time being.
Yeah. And do you have a roommate down there, or is our friend got her own place over there somewhere?
Yeah, she's a good tenant. I have
She's a good tenant.
yeah, she's a good tenant. She pays her portion of the rent and does her tenant duties.
There you
Very
go.
nice.
Nah, she's been good. We got her hooked up with my coach and trainer Jihad.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
yeah, so she's been getting some good work in there and coming along real nice. So I see big things in her future.
Well, speaking about Jihad, Kyle and I we're going to be in Tampa, and we were looking to come by and take a look see around. You know, we want to
Yeah.
come by and record a little bit and do a little bit of interviewing, visit the gym and all that. So
Yeah, please do, man. That'd be awesome.
yeah, I wrote to Martin, and so we're probably going to head over there, and then we're probably going to hit up toward the pizza too. You know, I don't know if
Sweet,
you've been
yeah.
there before. Have you been
Oh
there?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, we got to go there.
good old street nat Matt. Yeah, he's yeah, Matt's awesome, man. And he makes some good pizza. I've been to his restaurant a number of times. And yeah, he's an awesome dude, man. That's definitely worth checking out.
Hell yeah.
I can't wait for this trip, man, for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's going to be a lot of people down there. There always is in Florida. People come out to see the fights. So the main event's freaking awesome. Why don't we ask you I want to ask you two predictions, not your own fight. Who do you think wins the main event, Reggie Barnett and Jared Grant, on the night that you fight?
That's a tough one, man. Like, because you know we know Jared's on a roll. You know he's currently undefeated. You know, Reggie, if I'm not mistaken, I think he has 2 losses, but they're both from Bedford, right? I think those are his only losses.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, both.
So yeah, so like I don't think it'll be an easy washout for anybody. If I'm going gut feeling, I think that Jared will probably win by decision. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but I think it'll be like a close, like competitive fight. You know, like I don't have anything for or against either one of those guys, but if I was throwing down money, that would be my bet.
Yeah, people would probably bet against the inactivity of Reggie Barnett, but if anybody follows Reggie Barnett on any of his social medias, that dude's always training his fucking ass off.
And
never
he's still an
takes a
OG,
day off.
man. Like, you know, he started early with BKFC, and
he's a pioneer of the sport. He's much like our next guests, like him and Elvin and Lorenzo. These guys are there from the beginning, and they're all molding the game into what it is today. And Reggie has a huge hand in what bare knuckle has become. It's its own thing now. It's definitely it's not boxing without gloves on, for sure.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole new evolution, man. But yeah, Reggie is awesome, man. I like that dude, and I hope he it's hard to say, like, I hope either one's win, because I actually do like both those guys. I've talked to both of them a little bit, but it's kind of one of those things, like, I hope the best man wins. You know what I mean? Like, they're both some awesome fighters.
For sure. And we're going to throw your referral code up at the bottom there. Anybody that doesn't have the app, go ahead and get it. Use his code, help the guy out. And before we do a speed run, I want one more prediction. If the Lorenzo Hunt and Mike Richmond fight gets made, how do you see that fight happening?
I would say Richmond takes that one.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's got a just solid style about him. He's been on top of his game. You know what I mean? I haven't seen any real, like, holes in it so far. And you know, he's been putting people away. So I mean, I think
doing that.
What a test that'll be for him. That dude, Lorenzo's a big boy.
Yes,
a lot
he
of
is.
power.
That's the thing. And you know, Richmond, even though he has fought in the lighter weight classes, at least in the videos you guys put up and stuff, he looked like he beefed up a lot. So I mean, I think even if he is fighting 185, he'll definitely still be cutting weight to make it. So there might be a bit of a little bit of a weight spread, but I don't think enough to make a difference in the fight, honestly.
Man,
well, I can't wait. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that fight needs to be made. We're excited to see that one. We're excited to see your fight.
Fun,
yeah, we're excited to see all the fights down in Tampa. Let's do a speed round with Captain Deadpool and let him get up out of here. Get some rest. Here you go. First question: how do you like your pizza? Deep dish, hand toss, or thin crust? Or what toppings?
Ooh, typically hand tossed or thin crust. Those are pretty interchangeable. My go-to is pepperoni and pineapple. And actually,
delicious.
And actually,
I
Matt over at
think
Torta
you
Pizza, we
just
were talking
mentioned.
about.
Did you mention that somewhere?
Yeah, because when I went to his restaurant, first opened it up, I ordered that and he made it and it was awesome stuff. And I was like, kind of half joking, I was like, you got to put this on the menu, man. You got to make it the Captain DP. He's like, done. He's like, when I print them up, I will make you. I will put that as an option on there. I was like, that's fucking cool. But
the Captain DP, the DP pizza.
Yeah.
There you go. The double. All right, here we go.
All right. Favorite sport outside of combat sports?
Hockey. Sure.
Really?
I mean, it's almost a combat sport, but yeah, hockey. I'm a big fan of the home team here, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Nice.
Number 3, when you was a kid, what was your favorite cartoon?
Ooh, X-Men. X-Men was my go-to. This is the first one that comes to mind. Yeah.
Who was your favorite X-Men character?
Back then, man, I mean, I guess it's kind of going with mainstream, but definitely a Wolverine fan.
Yeah.
I thought Colossus was cool. Actually, I got a new American Bully puppy a couple months ago, and I named him Colossus because he's kind of like beefy and strong. So
nice.
There you go. Number 4.
All right. As a fan, what was your favorite bare knuckle fight? That's my fault. See that right there? That's my fault.
What was your favorite?
What was your favorite bare knuckle fight? Huh?
Shit. Let me think. Trying to think something that made me like really sit off my seat. Oh man. It's supposed to be a speed round, not a fucking round.
You're really
all right,
failing
take
this
away
one.
3 points.
I can tell you which one mine was. I know
Please do.
my end. It was Artem versus Jason Knight, first one.
Right.
Artem Lobov, Jason Knight won. Had me jaw on the floor, like, what the fuck am I looking at here? These two zipper-faced dudes. At the end of the fight, it looked like a horror show, and it was fantastic, and I loved every second of it.
Yeah, no, that was nasty. That was that's probably kind of like the one that put him on the map a little bit, you know.
Yeah, it was fantastic, man. But then the one when me and Mike went to Knucklemania 1, and we had never been to a live event before.
Yeah.
And we went there for the first time as media, and we're like standing with Britton Hart's mom over there by the ring. We're about 15 feet from the ring, and we watched Taylor Starling and Teresa Segala put on a fucking
beat the hell out of each other,
and we were like,
yeah.
I thought Segala died in the first round. I thought she actually died, and then when she hit the ring, she bounced back up like it was one of them little bouncy houses. Bing! Yeah. I was like, "Whoa, what the hell?" She got back up. Like I turned around like it was over. I was ready to go get like a pizza.
Yeah, I was in the crowd for that one too. I was at Knucklemania 1, and because I was trying to get on that card because it very close to hometown, but couldn't find an opponent at the time. But yeah, that was an awesome fight. Good call.
Oh yeah. And our last question for you, sir. What is one thing that you do every day that you wish you can get rid of?
Yeah. Back to the American Bully, picking up dog shit.
There you go.
He's get that Vapor rise.
I wish that existed. Yeah, no, he's coming along. He's learning, but it's like having a newborn that you just don't put diapers on, and he just goes where he wants to go. You know what I mean?
So for all you people for all you kids that keep asking your mom and dad for a puppy, come back and watch this episode, but only watch that 30-second clip because most of it is unacceptable for you.
It's Kyle dropping his bomb.
Yeah. I ruined this for being a kid show. Anyways, dude. Everybody, the referral code's at the bottom. Thank you very much for coming on. Take a second, shout some people out. And if you want to give like a final prediction, this is your time, but go ahead.
Yeah, man, just as far as my training crew that shipped MMA out here in Tampa. Some of my longtime sponsors, actually, this is one of them, Foil Surfboards. The guy's been with me for a long time. We got Epic Services. They do a lot of muscular therapy stuff for me. Rewire is another one, physical therapist that trains with us and helps keep us in shape and stuff. That's just a few of them off the top of my head, man. But prediction, it's going to be fucking entertaining. I'm not going to let it be a boring fight, and it's not going to go the distance.
There you go. Guys,
things I like to hear.
don't
Things
miss
I like
this
to hear.
one. It is July 23rd. Jomi Escoboza against Jared, Captain Deadpool, Warren. It is the co-main event. Huge fight card. We actually have one bonus question on your way out the door. Mike, go ahead.
Have you ever saved a cat from a tree?
No, and I have a feeling
Hmm.
my coach was the one who put that up because he asked me that earlier today. He's like, "Man,
What?
you've been a fireman for 12 years and you've never pulled a cat out of a tree." I was like, "Not one time."
Get the hell out
So
of
weird.
here.
That's so weird. We definitely didn't talk to your coach.
That is why this is why we get along with the Shift MMA guy so well, because he did not give us that question. We thought of that earlier. We threw it up.
That's
there.
random.
That's funny though. I mean, this literally this was just like a few hours ago during training that this came up.
All right. Well, we will see you and your whole team down there in Tampa. Can't wait to see you. Thank you for coming on the show as always, man. Good luck.
Thanks for having me, man. I look forward to seeing you guys.
All right. I'll talk to you
Later, brothers.
later.